Welcome back to another episode of the Global Trial Accelerators podcast. Today we have Dr. Sarfaraz Niazi, a prominent Pakistani American academic scientist, inventor, entrepreneur, and author, best known for his pioneering work in biopharmaceutical manufacturing and the biosimilars industry. So, Sarfaraz, it's really a privilege to have you here.
Well, I want to thank you because I don't know how many people get a chance to talk about themselves and who they are, but that is a part of being privileged, and thank you for giving me the chance. It sort of refreshes your own mind, okay? So it has a therapeutic value, so I'm going to use it for that reason, okay?
Excellent.
Anyway, I got my master's and PhD in pharmaceutical sciences, Chicago, and I was 22 years old then. And at age 27, okay, I became full professor with tenure at University of Illinois, which was not a good idea, okay, because then you get disappointed in what you do and what you want to do. But I was always interested in inventing. So even at that stage, okay, I invented probably the first drug for weight loss. And the way it worked was very simple, okay. You coat the intestine with the fluorocarbon so the food won't go in there. Well, I got the patent, but then a lot of people got very upset with me. I was on not a quite cover story, but on Time magazine in New York Times. They say the world is starving and you are trying to stop the food from going in, okay. I said, well, we just have to do what you have to do. But now these GLP-1s are, I call them the Bollywood and Hollywood medicines, okay? It is, everybody is using it to lose weight. Anyway, so I got tenured and everything. Then I literally got bored, okay? Because then I left and joined Abbott Laboratories. How it happened was nice, I was in a dinner which they give it to their fellows. They call Wohlweiler fellows, who are lifetime employees and all the kind of things, okay? So there was a young president of Abbott International who asked me, okay, do you want to join and work for us? And I looked down upon him. I says, me? Academicians, professor going down?
Yeah, going down. Going to the industry, in your opinion, was
I said,
going down.
So I asked him, okay, I said, why would I do this? And this man, I think he was in the early 40s then, okay? And this was long before the Godfather movie came, okay? He says, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yes. Yeah.
I said, go ahead. He said, here's the deal, okay? You do what you like and like what you do. All right. I said, all right, now this is too good, okay? So I became international developer of new products for Abbott.
Nice.
One of the products that I made was a mosquito repellent.
Okay.
And the Abbott says, what are you talking about, okay? We are a pharma company, okay? I said, yeah, you're selling vitamin C and erythromycin, okay? And now that product is one of the best-selling products in Asia.
Really? The mosquito
I was
repellent.
able to give a longer acting. All the military uniform, everybody has to carry that. Okay. Anyway, I got a lot of products approved by, and then I became the fellow also at Abbott. And then in the early 90s, I saw the world changing around. Okay. I saw that now we're coming back to the pharmacy inside our body, which I call it open 24/7, okay? And I said, you know what? This is going to be the future. So I quit my job at Abbott. Second time, my wife says, you don't like when you have security, okay? I said, well, let's do this, okay? And then I joined in Trieste, ICGEB, which is a UN operation for developing technology. The chief was a Brazilian guy, but fantastic man. Okay, so we developed many of these biosimilar products
Okay.
long before even the term was created, which I
Really?
also did. Okay, and then I got this technology, and I gave it to many developing countries, and then I came back to US and set up my own company,
Okay.
the first biosimilar company in US.
There was
I
therapeutic proteins.
Yes, Tribhuvan.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that was one experience I can write the whole book on. When you go out to raise money, okay, so there are two people who you meet, okay. One is called Dr. No. He
Yeah.
says that's not gonna work. He's the
Yes.
perfect record of success, okay, because
Yeah.
nothing fails, nothing. And then
Yeah.
there's a Dr. Butt, which says if the sky falls apart, then what, okay. But I was very lucky to find people, okay, who gave me more than $500 million to do it.
Wow.
And I set
Amazing.
up the full manufacturing in Chicago, right across from one of the baseball stadiums in south side of Chicago. And I got a few products approved by FDA. But for doing it, okay, I needed a different technology because the building I got had a lower ceiling that will not accommodate the commercial bioreactor.
Okay.
So I went to Home Depot and I bought all the parts, literally a
Home
plastic
Depot.
bag and a rocker and everything, and made my own bioreactor.
Oh my God.
The first product I got approved is in my bioreactor. Okay.
Wow. And
And
you
then
also got a patent for that
no, I
bioreactor.
got it. I got 200 patents.
Yes.
Right now, I have more than 200 US patents, which involve bioreactors, winemaking, and all kind of things. Okay. But I got so excited with the invention part of it. Okay. But it worked out. Okay. And I found that every time you do something out of line from what the industry does, so I had about 300 people working, and most of them will say, "No, Dr. Niazi, it's not going to work." Okay. They were traditional scientists, including when I filed my application. I had no plan of doing clinical efficacy testing,
Okay.
and the scientists I had, he said, "No, you cannot go to FDA and say this." Okay. I said, "You know what? I have no problem being rejected. Okay, you do." So I went there, and literally the sentence I spoke was, "And I have no plans of doing any efficacy study because I think it's not needed. And secondly, I can't afford it."
Yeah.
And FDA
Yeah.
says, "Okay, I got approved." Okay, so that was the first time FDA has ever approved a biosimilar without requiring.
Without, so you,
Now, it doesn't mean I didn't do testing in healthy subjects. Okay, I did comparison, which is you call bioequivalence testing. Okay, which was simple,
yes. Yeah.
but efficacy testing was not necessary.
Okay. But
But
you challenged the system. You challenged the
oh no,
FDA.
I just said prove it. Okay, FDA is very good in accepting challenges. Okay, and coming back. Every time I have a meeting with FDA, I may have two or three people. Okay, they may have 20, 30 people online, and everybody wanted to know.
Yeah.
But then what I found that there is a huge opposition to getting the cost of development reduced. And you know where it's coming from, okay?
Yeah.
And everybody will say that, no, we have to see the data in patients, okay? We have to do it. So the cost of developing biosimilars was over $100 million a piece.
Wow.
This was estimate published by many companies. And
Yeah.
I said, if that's what it's going to cost, okay, there will be no affordable drugs, okay.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so that's exactly what happened. Out of the 200 molecules, 100 of them which are out of patent, we only have 14 molecules approved, as
Really?
biosimilar. That's it. And most of them are owned by big pharma.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course, they can afford it.
Yeah, they can
So,
afford it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought, maybe I should do it differently. Okay. So I start publishing. But when you go to the journals, okay, which are very reputable, okay, you get a lot of scrutiny before you get published. And I was very fortunate. Okay, I got published in Science. I got published in some of the major journals. Okay, and I was questioning, not never talking about cost. Okay, never. I was only talking about the science and the mathematics of it. Okay, so let me give you an example. One paper I published, okay, said that if a new drug approval required, say, 500 patients,
Yeah.
a biosimilar will require 1 million patients to do the same thing, because you are looking at something which is exactly same. All right. Now, it's not like having placebo effect. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but FDA agreed. FDA conducted their own studies and say, yes, you're right. Okay. Fortunately, I was the editor of their paper, so I was very happy. Okay. But still, you go to clinicians and you go to big pharma, they still, well, I still want to see data in patients.
Yeah.
So there was a one lecture I gave. I said, let me give you to clinicians because they don't understand science. Okay. I said, let me give you an idea. Okay. Say you go to a jeweler shop and buy a diamond, 3 carat diamond.
Yeah.
All right. You paid for it. But before you give it to your girlfriend, okay, you want to put it on a bathroom scale to make sure it's 3 carat. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you get it? No. So I published about more than 12, 15 papers on the scientific part of it. There were many issues with the guidelines. I can go on hours and hours, okay, how the guidelines came and so
I'm
on. But
sure.
I don't wanna waste your time, okay. I think we should get to something more exciting, okay. So I was able to convince EMA and MHRA, and everybody has agreed that today you don't have to do efficacy testing if there are what you call the pharmacodynamic parameters available. But I'm taking it to a very different level. Okay,
Okay.
my level is, hey, listen, I've already figured out this is the same molecule, right? Okay, I've already figured out it is same concentration in the blood.
Yes.
Why would you think that it will have a different effect?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a big issue raised by Big Pharma about immunogenicity. So I published a paper. I said there are more people immunogenic to milk than there will ever be to drugs. Okay. Okay. I think we should ban the milk. Okay. If you
Oh,
really
do a
want to.
clinical trial on the milk.
Yeah, exactly. It should be approved by FDA. You put $100 million. Okay. So FDA issued a guideline. They said no testing for immunogenicity
Interesting.
because I told them every protein drug is supposed to be immunogenic. You're putting a foreign protein made by a different method. Okay.
Yeah.
But there are two kinds of immunogenicity. One is going to kill you, okay? We don't want that.
Yeah.
Other might affect your half-life or disposition, okay? But if that is not happening, okay, why are you concerned with it? Okay? So
Yeah.
FDA issued a guideline removing it. So you see slowly there were 7 or 8 things were changed, okay? All
Yes.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
One of them was testing in animals. All right. Now, animals are a long history of it, okay? But protein drugs act by a different mechanism, which is called receptor binding, okay? They're not acting like a chemical, but they bind
Okay.
to receptors.
Okay.
Now, animals don't have those receptors. So if you give to a rat some adalimumab, we said, that was a good breakfast. Give me some more. And companies are doing clinical testing of animal testing. One company, very big one, submitted 17 studies to FDA, and FDA refused to see all of them. Okay. So to do that, I first published a letter in Science magazine, which is very difficult to publish.
Yeah.
Then I went to US Senate, and I found 2 senators willing to do this. We got the bill approved to remove animal testing for biological drugs. And when the former president signed the bill, at the time of signing in White House, he says, I don't know about animals, but it's going to make Professor Niazi very happy. So, no more. And this was very idiotic, literally, and it is a part of the mindset, that no, test in animals, test in animals. Now comes the human testing, Last 4-5 years, FDA has published many papers. And then I published papers talking about what we call this comparative efficacy testing. And the comparison can be with a placebo. That's where I wrote some of the most significant papers, at least in my opinion, where I talked about. So let me give you an example. There was a drug called sildenafil citrate, which was developed for hypertension.
Yes.
And there was a trial going on in France. When the trial ended, the patient would not return the samples.
Oh, yes.
And so they said, what's going on? Well, this is causing erection.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Let's do the study. So they did a clinical trial against a placebo. Placebo means no drug.
Yeah.
People in placebo had 40% response because they thought this will help them. So I said, placebo is not the right way to go, especially for drugs like painkillers or where your mind is involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are diseases which are purely, if you talk about cancer treatment or some other, they are nothing to do. But a lot of diseases have mind control.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wrote papers on how mind works. Okay. So
Wow.
then there's a
Fascinating.
placebo. But in my paper, which was in a major journal, I shifted in this scientific paper into a different discussion, which I had a difficulty accepting, but it was. I said it is the placebo that makes you believe in God. Why? If I'm in trouble, I hand over this to God and I'm feeling good. It is the dopamine and other chemicals in the brain that are causing it. And it is for this reason that today 80% of the world believes in a superpower,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It's a placebo effect.
Placebo effect.
At the same time, there is a nocebo effect, which means what will harm you. And that brings the war, that brings everything that goes on in human life, hating others and fighting others, everything is because of nocebo effect, So in this paper, I said, let's find out drugs that we can give it to people so they will never fight and we will have a utopia. They published it and I got so many criticisms, but that is the fact, is that we get so used to the traditional thinking that we find it easy just to continue with that. Clinical efficacy testing is going to change significantly. The real testing is what happens in the real use.
Yes.
I'll give you one example, the COVID vaccine, is based on mRNA, which is something else I'm doing.
Yeah.
It was fine, in 2,000 subjects,
And by the way, you are the CEO of RNA Therapeutics.
Yes, I'm making mRNA vaccines and all of them,
Yeah.
And then came out they call anti-vaccine team. Okay, they said, well, there were so many, 7 people were affected. They had a heart attack who took the vaccine. I said, my dear, if you give a glass of water to 2 billion people, there will be 2,000 people who would have died of heart attack. Okay, all right. It is the number of exposures you have. Okay, so there is a lot of misconception I'm trying to resolve, but FDA is on my side. Okay, okay, they publish papers, so they're called real time studies. Okay, you approve a study, a drug if it's safe and effective, proven, but the real data matters. Okay, what patients give you in all different environments. That's what
Yes,
makes the
real
difference.
world data. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that will become a reality or not soon, because the conflicts of interest that we have today have nothing to do with science. It has to do with politics and financing.
Yeah, exactly.
Big pharma does not want any change.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
not at all. Okay, if it costs $2 billion, which it does right now, they're happy. Okay, so that 99% of other companies who could have made it would not be in the game.
Yeah.
But I'm not in it to save money, and that I want to make sure. I want to bring rationality to how the drugs are judged, okay, and how the drugs are approved. Okay. And in that case, okay, I have gone through many new ways of developing drugs. Okay, I have gone through questioning. I'll give you one good example. Okay, there is a 2024. There was a Nobel Prize given to a fellow. I call it Chicago kid. He got his PhD in chemistry from UC of Chicago,
Uh-huh.
and then he went to work for a small company called Google,
Yeah.
and he asked for money to create a computer program to predict the structure of proteins. Well, he got Nobel Prize.
Wow, really?
So I wrote to the Nobel Committee. Okay, I said, I have tested this concept. Okay, so let me explain to you one thing. The structure of protein is not a fixed structure. What Jumper is doing, that's the name of this guy's name, Jumper is doing, he is telling you the structure based on the knowledge of frozen structures, which has nothing to do with what is the structure at the site of action.
Okay.
So I wrote a very long paper after doing the testing. 4 journals rejected it. He said, how can you question a Nobel Prize? How can you question, I said, look at my, but a very big journal at Elsevier that publishes me,
I've
they
heard
said,
about it,
okay.
yes.
They said, okay, let's do it. Okay, they publish it. Okay. In this paper, I have clearly challenging the Nobel Committee.
Interesting.
I got email from 3 Nobel laureates, okay,
Okay.
and many people telling me that I have the courage to say these things, okay, it cannot work, okay. Then I went into the AI part of it, which John Jumper is using, okay. What is AI? Okay, I published 6 papers on AI, how to use it for drug development, and I said
Wow.
the term is wrong. There's nothing artificial about it. It is adaptive intelligence, not artificial intelligence. And then the most shocking paper that I think I could do was, it's not approved for publication, but it's almost there. I went through a lot of projections and mathematical work to show that someday, because human brain has a way of thinking which is going back to the placebos, okay,
Yeah.
I said someday the computers will be able to have the same emotional responses as humans have. So I went to a major journal, I only go to major journals, okay. 3 reviewers came out. One says outright rejection. Others said revise it as much as you can. It might make sense.
Okay.
Third one says I'm writing you for Nobel Prize. So now I'm revising this paper. Now here's the part of it. Same thing, okay. Human brain. I was the first one to say that it is not possible to AI to be human, okay. But now I'm finding out how. I'm doing it on the basis of quantum mechanics. So Julio, sometimes you sit down and talk to yourself, okay. Who are you talking to? I resolve it. There is a quantum basis of you. Okay? So you are here and you are there.
Yeah.
And my argument was now we're getting into quantum computing. Okay.
Yes.
So we could have a computer talking to itself. What should I do? How should I decide? And I said, someday it will be able to do that. And then it can play many different roles. Okay. So that I'm confident, like I was before, this paper will get accepted, but it will stir up huge debate.
Yeah.
Huge debate. Okay, is computer going to replace human minds?
Exactly.
My idea, my conclusion is the human brain weighs about less than a pound, and it uses the electricity of a 30-watt bulb. Okay. To perform the same function, you need trillion watts of energy, and you need at 1 trillion pounds of a machine to do it.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
You have to condense it to make it work, okay? But be ready for changes. So I'm going to stop here because I think I spoke too long, and I get excited about talking to people, okay? So I just go into it.
But it's fascinating, Sarfaraz. Unfortunately, yes, we only have half an hour or so. But it looks like I can speak with you for hours. We can have like 3 parts, a series of 3 episodes or something.
Well, I learned myself by talking about it, okay? Because it comes to an idea, okay? Why would you accept a statement I'm making?
Yeah.
Okay? As a teacher all my life, okay, I have a teaching for my students. I had about 50 PhD students. I said, if you cannot make your students understand, then the problem is with you, not them. Okay? Teachers are, if you're not a teacher, you read the book, you read the Heisenberg was my favorite man. In my other office, I have pictures of 1927 meeting in which there were half of the people were quantum mechanics people. Okay, so Heisenberg had an equation that worked beautifully, uncertainty, but he couldn't figure out why it works. Before that, the equation was not complete. So it was in 1922 or 3. So he was in late 30s, a professor in Germany.
Yes.
So he said, I'm not coming back to work until I resolve it. So he went to a remote island in Germany.
Oh, really?
And he said, I'm going to sit down there. And he took his girlfriend with him. 2 of them.
2 of them?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. He took 2 girlfriends there. And he sat down for 3 months. And then he says, Eureka moment. I got it. It's working. And no one has been able to challenge that equation. It's called the principle of uncertainty. Okay.
Yeah.
It says that you can either tell where it is or what is its energy, but not both at the same time. Okay. And this equation is so interesting that you cannot, I mean, 100 years have gone, people must have twisted it anyway. So I
Yeah.
published a paper on that 100-year celebration of Heisenberg. Uh, and I think these are I think I stimulate your mind to think about it. Okay, how can somebody come up with
Yeah.
Einstein
Exactly.
coming up with his theories and so on? But anyway, it was a delight to see you and talk to you.
Thank you,
I hope
Sarfaraz.
my listeners will also keep their mind open and creative. You got a great machine inside, my friend. You have to make the best use of it.
Yes, Sarfaraz, it was a privilege to have you here. I hope we keep in touch. I mean, your work is fascinating. Just starting to kind of grasp the magnitude of your work. And as I said at the beginning of the call, I'm privileged to be in contact with you. And I look forward to hopefully another episode with
Absolutely. There are so
another
many
exciting
topics.
topic. Yes,
We can
yes,
talk
yes.
about science topics, politics. I have papers on religion, which nobody likes. Okay.
And poetry, right? You're a poet as well.
Yeah. No, I did the translation of the Persian poems.
Yes, you
Okay,
did. I
which is
saw
the
that.
largest
Yes.
book. Okay, but yeah, poetry. Yeah, that's the one. And someday we can talk about my best friend, the Almighty God.
Okay.
Okay.
I was best friend. All right.
Fantastic.